to create a dream life. So let's do it now. Let's give a big round of applause to SPD Ron Raven.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. It's a wonderful day. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank David Schmidt, LifeWave, and all of us for what this community has brought to us. And without you guys, there's no LifeWave. When Lori asked me to speak about a month ago, I declined. It's not my favorite thing to do, to be on stage. I'm a talker, but not in front of a bunch of people. And Lori's one person you don't say no to, more than once. So when she asked me again, and she told me that, my story, resonated with people and they really needed to hear it. So that's why I decided to do it. I've nicknamed her Lori the Pistol, but anyway. So my story started with LifeWave back in 2019. I got a phone call in that summer. It was June 28th. And the voice on the other end of the phone said, "Have you heard about X-39? Well, I hesitated for a second. And I came back and I said, "Is that like Area 51 where the flying saucers landed?" I had no idea. And it was Ron Ledford, my sponsor today, who was a friend of mine. And we'd known each other for about 4 years. He lived on the East Coast. I lived on the West Coast. And he just kept it really simple. He said, "I want you to watch this short video and give me your feedback on it a little bit." And so I went ahead, and he didn't really elaborate on what it was about. Just give me your feedback. I watched it, and oh my God. Little did he know that all through high school, I got A+ on my report card in science. The other grades didn't do very well then. Science was pretty good. But I knew what stem cells were, and I knew one day they'd probably be the medicine of the future. So I called him back up, and I said, "Hey," I said, "I'm excited. I want to be in this. I want this for me." And I said, "It sounds like it's a network marketing company." Now, I'm not a network marketer. I'm a chimney sweep by trade, and I've done it for 37 years. That's what I still do today. Cleaned probably over 50,000 chimneys. And anyway, he said, okay. He started to tell me about some of the packages. I said, "Stop." I said, "I know network marketing has big packages. What's the top business building package you have?" Because I was excited. When I grew up in the 70s, and when I used to watch all the Star Treks, all of them, 10 times. And I knew when like Spock and Captain Kirk, went down to a planet and they got in a fight, they got injured, they'd beam back up and the doctor would wave the wand and they'd be okay. Well, I'd been studying frequency medicine for a few years, and so I was excited about that. And Einstein had said a lot of stuff, but one of the things he said is that the medicine of the future would be frequency medicine. So I was into it, so I was excited. And so I finally got Ron Ledford to consent to telling me how much the biggest package was. Like, what is it? How much? It was a diamond package for only $15.99. I said, "I want it." And he told me there was 19 sleeves. But somewhere along the line, he had told me I'd heard it was $99 a sleeve. Well, I'm pretty good with math. I said, "Well, that's not $99. That's like $85. It's like cheaper." And so I was really excited. So I went ahead and got ready to get on board. And so I grabbed my debit card from my personal account. And it was the summer of 2019. And it was 110 in California, so chimney sweeps aren't cleaning a lot of chimneys. So I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. Well, I didn't have enough money in that account. So I went ahead and got my business checking account, and there wasn't enough money in there. So I decided to put them both together, and there still wasn't enough money. So but I wanted this really bad, so I went ahead and I had a credit card that I never used. I had one credit card. And so I put that diamond pack on the credit card. I live in California, and my package came probably about 3 or 4 days later. It came pretty quick. I was so excited. I got up that morning. I put it on the truck with me, sat the box in the seat, went to start my van. And I had to start my van the same way I'd had to start it for about a year. I had a lot of injuries, a lot of things wrong with me. No diseases, but injuries. I was an avid backpacker. I'd hiked a lot of the 40-mile passes in the Sierra, climbed Mount Shasta 3 times with ice axes and crampons 15,000 feet, cleaned over 50,000 chimneys, and worked out with weights most of my life and ran 6 miles a day for about 30 years. So I was broken down. I'm 67 years old, so it kind of caught up with me. I got to where I couldn't work out in the gym anymore. 10 years had passed, and so I dropped down to about 178 pounds of weight. That was my fighting weight, I guess you'd call it. And so, anyway, went ahead, had the box in the seat, and I reached over to start my van. Well, my biggest problem was, and I had a lot of them. I probably still have some mentally, but it was my right wrist, and my hand was swelled up half the size of the other hand, and the wrist. And I'm not one to go to the doctor, but I went to the doctor, and he told me that it was a severe problem, and he had a name for it. I can't remember. But he was holding my hand when he was telling me, and he was kind of pointing over here, and he said, well, we can fix that. And he said, we're going to go ahead, and we're going to cut the bone in half. Well, he's holding my hand. Well, I'm trying to get my hand out of his hand when he's talking about cutting my bone in half. He said, no, wait. He goes, we can do it better. We're going to go back a little further and cut it again. We're going to take a piece out. We're going to put some screws in there and put some glue in there, a plate, and it's going to be good to go. Well, I was, because as soon as he said good to go, I'd managed to get my hand out. The door was still open, and I was running down the hall. So I thought I was going to have to live with that. I didn't know how to fix it. Throughout my life, I broke my hands and cuts and stitched myself and splinted myself up, but I couldn't fix that. So I prayed a lot, and my left arm was actually getting bigger than my right arm because I couldn't use this hand. I'd go to church on Sunday. I couldn't even shake old ladies' hands. They dropped me to my knees. I'm not kidding. It hurt so bad. So I got in the van. I started the van with my left hand like I normally did, like this, because this hand's like over here like that, right? And so I put the patch, and I don't read directions of anything, so I put the X39 patch on my wrist, right? Common sense. Dude, within about a minute and 30 seconds, the pain went from an 8 to a 2. Well, that got my attention. I grabbed the steering wheel for the first time in about a year and squeezed it. It's like, this is pretty cool. Man, I'm looking at the patch, looking at the box, trying not to get in a wreck. Well, the next 15 minutes, I had so much go on with me, I had to pull over. I couldn't even drive. The sky seemed like it got about 10 times bluer. The leaves on the trees seemed like they got about 10 times greener. Now, I was having brain fog for about a year. My dad had passed away with dementia and Alzheimer's, and I kind of thought that's what I was getting. I couldn't remember stuff very well. Well, all of a sudden, that just went away right then. I could remember stuff and, thought I was on Star Trek with going down, the sky getting bluer. But some more things started happening to me that day also. I had more energy than I normally do, and I'm like hot grease on a skillet anyway, if you know me. I didn't need any more energy. I went to bed that night, and I slept better than I had in 3 decades, and I sleep pretty good anyway. So I was excited. I got up that next morning. I was like, I'd read the directions by then, figured out where to put the patch, right? So I realized I needed to share this with people, and so I started reaching out to people. And I'm not a network marketer, so I didn't really know any network marketers, but I knew a lot of people. And so I just started texting people, and I decided that I wanted to just resonate and lead with X39. I'd heard about the other patches, but I was just focused on what fixed my wrist, right? I didn't want to see any more bluer skies and greener leaves. That was enough. So I just kept it simple, and I just started texting friends and, have you heard about X39? It's changed my life. Watch this short video and get back to me. Well, lo and behold, my phone started blowing up. My social media started blowing up. I ended up selling, I think, about 11 diamonds my first month, 20 golds and silvers. Made about $10,500 my first month not making income claims, but that's what happened, right? So I was pretty excited because that was the summer of 2019. Every summer is pretty much the same, and where I'm like poor. I wasn't broke, I was just poor. And so $10,000 was, 1/10 of what I, made my whole year, and that was a lot. And so I was happy. Talking to Ron Ledford, we talked every day. He was excited. He was doing good. And we both just decided that we wanted to just, focus on X39 and lead with it. And that's what we did. And not that there's anything wrong with the other patches. They're great. But we just focused on that and kept it simple. And I ended up hitting senior presidential director in 16 weeks. And at the time, that was probably the fastest that it had been, on the planet. So I end up 6 months later at the LifeWave convention in Las Vegas, and I still hadn't realized what I'd done. You know, I'm just doing this, doing that. And finally someone told me, he just like did this thing, broke the record. I said, well, I wish you would have told me. I would have tried harder, right? But I was just sharing it and having fun, and I was so excited about what was happening to me. Well, that wrist was just part of it. It took about a year for everything to disappear from the ankle bone connected to the knee bone. I had stuff wrong with me. And it all went away. And after about a year, I was outside messing around, and I decided to do some push-ups. Well, I couldn't do push-ups before for 10 years because I had too much stuff wrong with me. I could do some push-ups. And I thought, oh my goodness. So anyway, long story short, I ended up back in the gym about probably a year and a half ago. Fixed it. Pain went away. I started working out like I had my whole life. And I'm a maniac when it comes to working out, 6 days a week in the gym at 9 o'clock after work. And I'm dedicated. And I gained 20 pounds of muscle. Went from 178, about 16 pounds of muscle to about 192. Now, the most I'd ever weighed was 192. And I was just surprised that at my age, I was able to gain muscle back again, you know. So I kind of got stuck at 192. I was becoming stronger than most of the kids in the gym. Nobody could do more pull-ups than me. Then in December, I think, of last year, X49 came out. So I was excited. Put X49 on, and dude, within about the first workout, I could feel it. And I ended up in 6 weeks putting 6 more pounds of muscle on, getting leaner. And so I was like totally stoked and excited. So just kept sharing this with people, and ended up making a dream income, you know. And I'm just an old hippie and stuff. And I still drive my 2004 chimney sweep van with the bent bumper, wear my old camouflage pants, and I'm not a fancy dancer or dresser, but, you know, anyway. So my oldest boy's in the Navy, and he called me one day. He goes, Dad, you need to read this book, The Millionaire Next Door. Well, what do I want to read that for? He said, you just need to read it. Well, I'm just real frugal with my money, and I invest it, but I'm still tight. I go to the store, to Sprouts, and buy food sometimes. My younger son, one day, he was in there, and he said, Dad, why are you always looking at all the sales and stuff? I said, I always do that. He goes, we don't need to. We got money. So I looked at him and I said, we don't have money. So let's get that straight right now. So anyway, it's been a wonderful ride, and we just still, you know, focus on X39 only. And I guess, you know, the whole theme of my story is leading with X39 like Lori wanted me to, and that's all I do. I have tremendous leaders. I'm not even going to name them all because I couldn't. I think I probably have about 75,000 people on my team right now. I'm just thankful I don't have to send out Christmas cards. But anybody can do this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It can be a chimney sweep from Modesto, California. I didn't go to college. I just always worked my whole life. Nobody ever gave me nothing, you know. So, you know, I always tell people, just be yourself. Run with what you brung. You know, I don't have to, because someone else is dressed in a suit, I don't have to do that. I don't have to have a black briefcase. If they want to do that, that's fine. But just be yourself. Run with what you brung. You know, this concept of what David has developed, it could be complicated if you get into the technical part, but if you start over-informationing people, you're going to get in trouble. I know, I've done that before, but if you keep it simple, and what I do is, you know, after someone says they want to, you know, they watch the video, call me up, I just end up sending them a sample. I only give them one, X39, and I tell them, I look them straight in the eye if I can see them, or tell them on the phone, you might not feel anything. Now, that didn't make a lot of sense, but I started doing that, and it started making a lot of sense. My phone started blowing up. You might not feel anything, but the next day, I want you to call me. I'm going to show you how you can get on a 90-day supply with a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Well, people were excited about that. But 70% of the people that felt something were calling me, go, hey, dude, you were wrong. We felt something, but you promised us we could get on that 90-day, you know, trial. And then the 30% of the people that they say don't feel anything, hey, dude, man, you were right. We didn't feel nothing. But we're excited because you're going to show us how we can get that X39. So I keep it simple, and it works for me. Be yourself. You don't have to be someone you aren't. and just do it, man. I mean, we got one of the best companies probably on the planet, you know. And after I got into this network marketing, I started researching it and started studying, you know, Dexter Yeager and Bill Britt and stuff like that. And they kept it simple. They had systems. They ran with one product in the beginning, you know. And so that's what we need to do. That's what I do. That's what I recommend you do. And I'm here to help everybody. If you're not on my team, there's probably a lot of you guys are, because I don't know who most of you are. But I'll help everybody. I'll absorb somebody on another team, do calls with them, share with them, and help them. Because it's not about the money for me. Not at all. It's about people. It's about people calling me up, like one of my friends from Ohio calls me one day crying. She goes, I've been in Lifeway for about 6-8 months now. My husband broke his back in a trucking accident 15 years ago. I'm the sole food provider. I work 2 jobs. I work 16 hours a day. She's like in her 60s. And she goes, it was Christmas Eve about a year ago. And she called me on the phone and she said, I'm able to quit my job. I can stay home with my husband. I'm making an extra $500 a week. You know, it doesn't seem like a lot, but for someone like that, it was. You know, your why might be different than mine. My son seems like his is way up there, right? But he'll learn. So don't stop. We got a wonderful company, and I believe that this company is going to probably outlive most of us. It's not going nowhere. It's great. Thank you. I love all you guys.